Commander Alex Winters stood at the viewport of the exploration vessel Horizon *, watching the stars drift by as the ship maintained its position near Neptune's orbit. The small crew had been charting the outer reaches of the solar system for months, part of humanity's ongoing expansion efforts beyond Earth. "Commander, we're picking up something strange," called out Lieutenant Greg Powell from the sensor station. "There's an object approaching from the Kuiper Belt. It's not following any natural trajectory." Alex moved quickly to the main console. "Show me." The display flickered to life, revealing a vessel unlike anything in the human registry. Its hull was composed of overlapping plates that seemed to shimmer with an internal light, and its propulsion system left no visible exhaust. "Definitely not one of ours," murmured Alex. "First contact protocol, everyone. This is what we've trained for." The crew snapped into action, monitoring the approach of the alien vessel. As it drew closer, they noticed severe damage along its port side, with exposed circuitry emitting sporadic bursts of energy. "They're in trouble," said Communications Officer Jenna Miller. "I'm detecting an unusual radiation signature from their engines. Looks like they're barely maintaining power." Alex made a quick decision. "Open a channel. Let's try to communicate." Before they could transmit, the alien ship sent a burst of data that the Horizon's computers automatically processed into audio-visual format. A being appeared on screen. Tall and slender with silver-blue skin and 4 elongated arms. Its large eyes blinked rapidly as it spoke, its words translated with a slight delay. "Human vessel. We seek temporary sanctuary. We are Vrex, fleeing Imperial forces. They must not find us in your system." Alex kept his voice calm. "We're willing to offer assistance. What kind of Imperial forces are you referring to?" The Vrex commander's expression shifted to something like surprise. "You do not know of the Galactic Empire. They control 17 sectors across this spiral arm. Their expansion has been relentless for centuries. Your system is next in their path." A chill ran through the bridge crew. The Vrex continued, explaining how their people had resisted Imperial annexation and were now on the run after their homeworld fell. "We can help repair your ship," offered Alex. "Our engineering team is skilled with adaptive technologies." The Vrex seemed taken aback. "You would assist strangers who bring danger to your doorstep." "It's what humans do," Alex replied simply. Over the next 3 days, the Horizon crew worked alongside the Vrex engineers. The aliens were astounded by human ingenuity, watching as the humans adapted tools and techniques to work with completely foreign technology. During a rest period, the Vrex commander approached Alex. "Your people are curious. You possess relatively primitive interplanetary capabilities, yet your combat simulations and tactical systems are remarkably advanced for a species not yet encountered by the Empire." Alex shrugged. "Humans have always prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. The Empire has never fought humans before," said the Vrex quietly. "Perhaps that is fortunate for them." On the 4th day, as repairs neared completion, one of the Vrex engineers accidentally activated their distress beacon while reconnecting power systems. The signal pulsed outward, cutting through space with unmistakable clarity. The Vrex commander's face drained of color. "We must leave immediately." "The beacon. Imperial scouts will investigate." Alex nodded grimly. "How long do we have?" "Weeks, perhaps months." "They are methodical." The commander hesitated. "You should prepare your people, Commander Winters. The Empire does not negotiate with systems in their expansion path." As the Vrex ship departed, Alex opened a channel to Earth Command. Humanity had just been placed on a countdown to an interstellar war they hadn't known was possible until 4 days ago. They would need every second to prepare. 3 months had passed since the Horizon's encounter with the Vrex. Earth's governments had united with unprecedented speed, pooling resources and knowledge to prepare for the coming threat. Dr. Olivia Hayes stood in her laboratory beneath Geneva, surrounded by holographic displays of Vrex biological data. The aliens had shared information about the Empire's various species before departing, and Olivia had been tasked with understanding their potential weaknesses. Their primary species has triple-layered cellular structures, she explained to Captain Nathan Brooks, who had been assigned as military liaison to her research team. It makes them resistant to radiation and many toxins, but potentially vulnerable to sonic disruptions. Nathan nodded, making notes. Anything helps. Our conventional weapons might not be effective against their armor technology. The captain had spent weeks reviewing the tactical information provided by the Frex. The Empire possessed energy weapons beyond Earth's capabilities and ships that could cross vast distances through something similar to wormhole technology. How are the planetary defense systems coming along? Olivia asked. We've retrofitted our orbital platforms with new shielding concepts based on Frex designs, Nathan replied. But honestly, we're working on guesswork and borrowed technology. Their conversation was interrupted by a priority alert. They rushed to the command center, where screens showed a sleek vessel approaching the edge of the solar system. It's not Frex design, said Nathan, studying the feed. Must be Imperial. The scout vessel transmitted a message demanding communication with Earth's leadership. Within hours, a carefully selected team of diplomats and military advisors gathered to respond. The Imperial ambassador appeared on screen. Zalmorath was humanoid, but with gray-green skin and ornate facial ridges that seemed to serve as status symbols. He wore an elaborate uniform adorned with metallic emblems. People of Earth, he began, his voice translated by the system the Frex had provided. The glorious Empire brings notice of your system's incorporation into our domain. Prepare for our arrival and immediate resource assessment. Resistance is unnecessary and inefficient. The Earth Coalition spokesperson, Ambassador Rebecca Jordan, maintained a diplomatic tone. We welcome peaceful contact with galactic civilizations, but Earth and its colonies remain sovereign. We propose discussions about trade and mutual cooperation instead. Zalmorath's expression shifted to one of confusion. Perhaps the translation fails. This is not a negotiation. The Empire expands. Planets comply. We bring order to primitive systems. We understand your position, Rebecca replied calmly, but Earth declines incorporation. We are prepared to defend our system if necessary. The Imperial ambassador seemed genuinely bewildered. He conferred with someone off-screen before addressing Earth again. Our scans indicate your technology level is pre-stellar civilization class. You possess no viable defense against Imperial forces. Compliance avoids unnecessary destruction. Nathan stepped forward. Ambassador, we've studied your scout vessel. Impressive, but not invincible. We suggest you review your assessment of Earth's capabilities. A flash of uncertainty crossed Zalmorath's features. You claim military adequacy against the Empire. Impossible. No developing world has ever successfully resisted. We're not like other worlds you've encountered, Rebecca stated. Return to your superiors with our position. Earth remains free. After the transmission ended, Nathan turned to the others. He didn't expect resistance. They conquered so many worlds without opposition that they've grown complacent. Will they attack immediately? Olivia asked. No, Nathan replied. The ambassador will report back first. But they'll come with overwhelming force when they do. From the viewport, they watched as the Imperial scout vessel turned and accelerated away from Earth, a small point of light vanishing among the stars. How long do we have? Asked Rebecca. Weeks at most, Nathan answered. But they've never fought humans before. That might be our only advantage. Lieutenant Samantha Cole checked her fighter's systems one final time as the alert sirens wailed throughout the Mars Orbital Defense Station. The Imperial fleet had arrived exactly where Earth's Defense Command had predicted. Mars orbit, the perfect staging ground for an assault on Earth. All pilots to launch bays, came the order through her comms. Imperial vessels have breached the outer defense perimeter. This is not a drill. Sam's hands moved steadily over the controls as she guided her fighter out of the launch bay. Around her, dozens of other Earth Defense Force fighters emerge, forming up into the attack formations they had practiced endlessly since the warning from the Vrex. "Phoenix Squadron, stay tight," she instructed her team. "Remember the simulations. Their energy shields don't react to kinetic weapons the same way they do to energy blasts." The view ahead was both terrifying and awe-inspiring. 15 Imperial warships hung in Mars orbit, their massive hulls gleaming in the distant sunlight. They were arranged in a perfect formation. Too perfect, Sam thought. "They're deploying fighters," reported her wingman, Kyle Baker. "Hundreds of them." "Stay calm," Sam replied. "They're following standard Imperial tactics, just like the Vrex described. They'll come in waves, expecting us to counter with energy weapons." The Imperial fighters accelerated toward them, their formation unwavering. When they came within range, they opened fire with energy beams that lit up the darkness of space. "Evasive pattern Delta," Sam ordered. "Hold your fire until they break formation." Her squadron scattered in a seemingly chaotic pattern that had been carefully designed to confuse the Imperial targeting systems. The enemy pilots, accustomed to opponents who followed predictable patterns, struggled to adjust. "Now," Sam called. Phoenix Squadron fired simultaneously. Unlike the energy weapons the Imperials expected, Earth's fighters launched projectiles. Simple tungsten rods accelerated to incredible speeds. The Imperial shields, designed to disperse energy attacks, offered minimal resistance against physical objects. The first wave of Imperial fighters broke apart as the kinetic weapons tore through them. On the main battlefield, Earth's larger vessels were implementing the same strategy. Railgun projectiles and missile salvos struck the Imperial warships, causing noticeable damage. "They're adjusting their shield configurations," reported the tactical officer from the Mars Command Center. "Second wave incoming." Sam watched as the Imperial ships began to modify their formations, abandoning their textbook approach. "They're learning," she muttered. "All squadrons, adjust to pattern Omega. We need to hit their flagship before they adapt further." She led her squadron in a sweeping arc around the battle, approaching the Imperial command vessel from beneath its sensor coverage. The massive ship was directing the battle, its communication arrays constantly transmitting orders to the fleet. "We have one shot at this," Sam told her pilots. "Target their communication array with everything we've got." Phoenix Squadron released their full payload at the vulnerable section of the Imperial flagship. The simultaneous impact overwhelmed the localized shields, and the communication array erupted in a cascade of explosions. Instantly, the coordinated Imperial attack faltered. Their fighters began moving in disjointed patterns, squadron leaders trying to compensate for the loss of central command. "It worked," Kyle exclaimed. "Their centralized command structure is their weakness." The battle continued for hours, with human forces using Mars itself as cover, emerging from behind the planet's shadow to strike, and then retreating. The Imperial forces, unable to predict these tactics, suffered increasingly heavy losses. Finally, after losing 3 major warships and dozens of fighters, the Imperial fleet withdrew to a position beyond Mars orbit. "They're regrouping," Sam observed as her damaged fighter limped back to base. This was just the first round. In the command center, military leaders watched the Imperial retreat with cautious optimism. Earth had won the Battle of Mars, but at a cost. The Red Planet's colonies had sustained heavy damage, and many pilots had been lost. "They'll be back," said the commander, but now they know humans aren't as primitive as they thought. Imperial General Drexthar paced the gleaming floor of the War Council chamber aboard the dreadnought *, Inevitable Conquest *. Holographic displays surrounded him, each showing footage from the disastrous Battle of Mars. He paused the largest display, freezing an image of human fighters executing an unpredictable attack pattern. "Play it again," he commanded. The footage resumed, showing Earth vessels using Mars orbit to hide their movements before emerging to strike Imperial ships from multiple angles simultaneously. "Deceptively primitive but terrifyingly innovative," Drexthar muttered. These humans fight like no species we've encountered. Around the circular table sat the Empire's highest military commanders, summoned from across the galaxy to address the unexpected resistance. Their earlier confidence had evaporated after receiving reports of the defeat. "Their technology should not be capable of penetrating our shields," said Admiral Vexcor, tapping her clawed fingers against the table's surface. "Yet they adapted their simple projectile weapons to exploit weaknesses we didn't know existed." Drexthar nodded grimly. "They don't follow any recognizable combat doctrine. Our tactical computers cannot predict their movements because they don't adhere to optimal efficiency patterns." The War Council viewed more footage, including close combat between Imperial soldiers and human forces on one of Mars' moons. The humans, despite their fragile bodies and inferior armor, had fought with shocking ferocity and adaptability. "Look here," Drexthar pointed. "They adjusted their tactics mid-battle after observing how our shields responded. The data shows they went from a 12% success rate to 67% in less than one planetary rotation cycle." A science officer stepped forward. "We've analyzed their communications. These humans operate with remarkable independence. When we disrupted their command structure, individual units continued fighting effectively instead of becoming disorganized as expected." The council members shifted uncomfortably. The Empire had expanded for centuries without facing significant military challenges. Their standardized approach had always been sufficient. "I recommend deploying the Dreadnought Division," Drexthar finally said. "Full Imperial response is necessary before these humans develop further countermeasures." As the council deliberated, an intelligence officer entered with a datapad. "Generals, we've received troubling reports. Captured Imperial technology is being rapidly reverse-engineered by the humans. Our latest intelligence suggests they've already implemented modifications to their defensive systems based on our shield designs." Murmurs of disbelief filled the chamber. "That should be impossible," said Admiral Vexcor. "It took the Sedonian civilization 3 decades to understand even basic Imperial technology after assimilation." "There's more," the intelligence officer continued. "The Imperial captain we lost in the Mars engagement has been interrogated by humans." He hesitated before continuing. "They didn't use neural extractors or pain compliance. They simply asked questions and provided comfortable accommodations." The council fell silent. The concept was alien to them. The Empire's interrogation protocols were designed to extract information efficiently, regardless of subject comfort. "These humans treat prisoners with respect," Drexthar said slowly, "yet fight with the ferocity of apex predators. They are contradictory." The meeting was interrupted by an urgent communication. A junior officer appeared on the main display, his uniform disheveled. "Generals, we've lost contact with supply convoy Delta 9. It was ambushed near the asteroid belt. Early reports suggest human vessels using our own weapons signatures to confuse our identification systems." Drexthar dismissed the officer and turned to face the War Council. "The humans are attacking our supply lines now. They're not just defending. They're thinking strategically." He straightened his uniform. "We have gravely underestimated this species." For the first time in his long military career, Drexthar felt something unfamiliar: doubt. The Empire had conquered thousands of worlds across the galaxy, but none had fought back quite like these humans. "Prepare the Dreadnought Division," he ordered. "We must crush this resistance before it spreads. Other subjugated worlds are watching." Dr. William Carter hadn't slept properly in days. His engineering lab beneath the Rocky Mountains had become his home, filled with dismantled Imperial technology salvaged from the Battle of Mars. Dozens of engineers and scientists worked around the clock, reverse engineering the alien devices, while developing hybrid systems that combined human ingenuity with Imperial advancements. "Hand me that molecular bonding tool," Will said to his assistant, reaching under a partially disassembled Imperial shield generator. "I think I've figured out how their particle matrix stabilizes." The engineering team had made remarkable progress in the 6 weeks since capturing Imperial technology. What might have taken other species years to understand, Humans were adapting in days. Dr. Carter called Eileen Foster his quantum mechanics specialist. We've successfully replicated the energy modulation pattern. The prototype shield is holding against the Imperial weapon simulations. Will hurried over to her testing station, where a small shield generator projected a shimmering field. A captured Imperial energy weapon fired repeatedly at the shield, which absorbed the blasts without failing. Incredible, Will murmured, checking the readings. We've improved the efficiency by 22% compared to their original design. A military officer entered the lab, bringing fresh intelligence. The Vrex representatives have shared more information, she announced. Apparently, the Empire is in shock at how quickly we're adapting. Their other conquered species typically took decades to understand Imperial technology, if they ever did. Will wasn't surprised. Humans have always been good at taking existing ideas and improving them. It's our specialty. The officer nodded. The psychologists have a theory about that. Apparently, humans evolved as pursuit predators. We're not the strongest or fastest, but we never give up. We keep adapting, learning, and coming back. The Empire has never encountered a species with our particular combination of traits. In another section of the vast complex, captured Imperial technology was being integrated into Earth's defensive systems. Engineers had already enhanced existing weapons with Imperial power sources, creating hybrid systems that confused Imperial targeting computers. The breakthrough is nearly ready for full deployment, Will told his team later that day. We can begin installing the new shield systems on our major vessels within 48 hours. As they worked, news arrived from their Vrex allies. The story of human resistance was spreading throughout the galaxy. Species that had lived under Imperial rule for generations were watching Earth's defiance with growing interest. The Vrex say that rumors of our success are causing problems for the Empire on other fronts, Eileen reported. Several subjugated worlds have begun passive resistance movements. Will smiled as he calibrated the final connections on the prototype shield. Good. The Empire has been unchallenged for too long. One of the military observers studied the shield with appreciation. The Empire expected us to either surrender immediately or fight conventionally and lose. They never anticipated we would adapt their own technology and improve it so quickly. It's what humans do, Will replied. We see something new, we take it apart, understand it, and make it better. He activated the shield, watching as it hummed to life with a blue-green glow. And we don't give up, even when logically we probably should. That evening, as Will finally took a break to eat, he reviewed footage of Imperial prisoners. They seemed genuinely confused by human behavior. The combination of fierce combat tactics with compassionate treatment of captives didn't fit any pattern they recognized. They think we're unpredictable, Will said to Eileen as they shared a quick meal. They're right. A communication officer rushed into the cafeteria. Dr. Carter, we're receiving reports from the Jupiter defense perimeter. Imperial forces are gathering, much larger than before. They've brought their elite dreadnought division. Will stood immediately. Then we'd better get these shields deployed. The real test is coming. Throughout the complex, humans prepared for the next battle, their determination unwavering. The Empire had never fought humans before, and they were about to learn why that had been fortunate for them. Admiral Lisa Morgan stood on the bridge of the Defiance Asterisk, Earth's largest battleship, as it maintained position near Jupiter's moon Europa. The gas giant loomed large in the viewports, its swirling storms and radiation belts part of her tactical advantage. The Imperial fleet had arrived in force, 3 times larger than the Mars engagement, with their elite dreadnought division leading the formation. They're deploying in standard attack pattern, reported her tactical officer. 5 major warships, including their command vessel, are moving to surround Europa's orbit. Lisa nodded calmly. Just as we expected. Are the radiation projectors in position? Yes, Admiral. All units are ready. Jupiter's intense radiation belts have been a hazard for human exploration for decades, but now they served as a weapon. Engineers had developed systems to focus and direct the radiation, harmless to ships with the new shields but devastating to Imperial vessels unprepared for such tactics. The Imperial commanders still think conventionally, Lisa observed. They believe bigger ships and more weapons will overwhelm us. They haven't learned. The first salvos from the Imperial fleet illuminated space as they targeted the human defensive positions around Europa. Their energy weapons were powerful enough to vaporize mountains, but the new shields developed by Dr. Carter's team held firm, absorbing the attacks. All ships, execute Operation Thunderstorm, Lisa ordered. The human fleet suddenly dispersed in what appeared to be a chaotic retreat. The Imperial vessels moved forward, pursuing what they perceived as fleeing targets. As they entered the planned zone, Lisa gave the signal. Activate the EMP projectors. Hidden devices planted on several of Jupiter's smaller moons activated simultaneously, sending massive electromagnetic pulses through space. The Imperial ships, their systems unprepared for this primitive but effective attack, experienced widespread failures across their electronic systems. Their shields are fluctuating, reported the tactical officer. Main Imperial vessels experiencing power disruptions. Lisa didn't hesitate. Launch kinetic packages now. From concealed positions, Earth vessels released thousands of simple tungsten rods, essentially heavy metal spears with minimal guidance systems. These kinetic impactors accelerated toward the Imperial ships, passing through their weakened shields and puncturing their hulls with devastating effect. Meanwhile, a small stealth vessel approached the Imperial flagship. Aboard was Commander Ryan Fisher and his team of 12 commandos, using the battle as cover for their critical mission. "We're approaching their engineering section," Ryan reported quietly as his team moved through the darkened corridors of the massive Imperial vessel. They had boarded during the confusion following the EMP attack. "Remember, we only need to plant the devices at these 3 junction points," he reminded his team. "Then we get out before they realize what's happening." The commandos moved efficiently, placing specially designed disruptors at key points in the Imperial flagship's power distribution system. These devices, based on reverse-engineered Imperial technology, would create a cascading failure throughout the vessel. "Final charge placed," reported his second-in-command. "Activating now." The team retreated to their stealth vessel as the Imperial flagship began experiencing catastrophic system failures. Lights flickered throughout the massive ship as power surged unpredictably through its systems. On the bridge of the Defiance Asterisk, Lisa watched as the Imperial formation began to break apart. Their perfect military precision had dissolved into confusion as ship after ship reported critical damage. "They're beginning to withdraw," her communications officer announced with barely contained excitement. "The Dreadnought is signaling retreat to all vessels." The Imperial forces, for the first time in centuries, were in full retreat from a battle they had expected to win easily. As they pulled back beyond Jupiter's orbit, a transmission was intercepted from an Imperial soldier to their high command. The message contained just one word: run. Lisa allowed herself a small smile as she watched the Imperial fleet flee. "Send word to Earth. The Jupiter defense was successful. And tell them to prepare for peace negotiations. I don't think the Empire has the stomach for another encounter with humans." Around her, the bridge crew cheered. Humanity had faced the greatest power in the galaxy and proven that technological superiority was no match for human ingenuity and determination. 1 year had passed since the Battle of Jupiter. Admiral Alex Winters, formerly commander of the exploration vessel Horizon stood in the Grand Assembly Hall of the newly constructed Galactic Council headquarters in Earth orbit. Representatives from 27 formerly subjugated worlds filled the chamber. Their diverse forms a testament to the galaxy's rich variety of life. The reconstruction efforts on Proxima Centauri's colonies are proceeding ahead of schedule, reported a tall Vrex diplomat. With human engineering assistance, they have already restored atmospheric processing to 80% capacity. Alex nodded appreciatively. In the months following the Empire's retreat, Earth had led an alliance of worlds eager to break free from Imperial control. Human ships, now equipped with reversed-engineered faster-than-light technology, had helped liberate dozens of systems. The Empire has withdrawn from the Orion Spur entirely, stated Earth's intelligence chief. Their forces have consolidated around their core worlds. Their diplomatic corps has sent another request for formal peace negotiations. The assembled representatives murmured among themselves. The Empire, which had dominated the galaxy for centuries, now sought peace with species they had once considered primitive. The speed of their decline had shocked everyone, including humans themselves. They underestimated us from the beginning, Alex remarked to Kalinar, the Vrex commander whose damaged ship had first warned Earth. They never understood what they were facing. Kalinar's four arms moved in a gesture of agreement. In all our history, we never witnessed a species advance so rapidly. You adapted our technology, improved Imperial designs, and unified your entire planet in less than one orbital cycle. Even now, it defies explanation. Humans have always been both builders and warriors, Alex explained. We can be extraordinarily compassionate or terrifyingly fierce, depending on the circumstances. The Empire only ever saw one side of us. After the assembly concluded, Alex walked through the station's observation deck. Through the massive windows, Earth shone blue and white against the darkness of space. Ships from a dozen worlds moved through nearby space, engaged in trade and diplomatic missions that would have been unimaginable just 1 year earlier. A group of Imperial diplomats passed by, escorted by human security officers. The Imperial representatives still seemed uncomfortable around humans, their eyes darting nervously whenever a human came too close. "They're afraid of us," noted Dr. Olivia Hayes, who had joined Alex on the deck. "Their military records now classify humans as the species that should not be provoked." Alex smiled slightly. "Fear isn't what we wanted from them. Respect would have been enough." "It's more than fear," Olivia replied. "It's a fundamental reconsideration of their place in the galaxy. For centuries, they believed their way was superior, their technology, their tactics, their governance. Humans showed them a different path forward." Reports from across formerly Imperial space described a galaxy in transformation. Species that had been subjugated for generations were rebuilding with human assistance. The alliance formed in the wake of the war emphasized cooperation rather than domination, with each world maintaining its sovereignty while contributing to collective defense. "Have you heard about the new emergency protocol being adopted across former Imperial worlds?" asked Olivia. Alex shook his head. "They've begun using the human word as their warning signal for dangerous situations," she explained. "When immediate action is needed, they simply say run." Later that evening, Alex attended a reception with representatives from the newest worlds to join the alliance. As he moved through the gathering, he overheard fragments of conversation in dozens of languages, many discussing Earth's unique place in galactic history. They went from a single planet to a galactic power in 1 year, marveled a crystalline being from a distant system. "It's not their technology that makes them formidable," replied its companion. "It's their nature. They never stopped advancing, never surrendered, never accepted limits." As the celebration continued, Alex gazed out at the stars. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged stronger, not just surviving, but helping rebuild a more equitable galaxy. The Empire had never fought humans before encountering Earth, and that miscalculation had changed the course of galactic history. The simple warning that had spread across 1,000 worlds said everything about the lesson the galaxy had learned. When humans are pushed too far, the wisest response is simply to run. 5 years after the formation of the Galactic Council, Earth had become the center of a thriving interstellar community. The anniversary celebration brought representatives from over 100 worlds to the expanded headquarters, now a massive space station named *Unity*. Commander Jack Rivera piloted his scout ship along the outer patrol route, monitoring the steady stream of diplomatic vessels arriving for the event. As one of the veterans of the Jupiter battle, He had earned the privilege of security detail for the historic gathering. Patrol 7 to Control, all sectors clear, he reported. Control to Patrol 7, acknowledged, came the response. Be advised we're tracking an unusual signature at the edge of the system. Probably nothing, but worth checking. Jack adjusted course toward the coordinates. As he approached, his sensors detected a small vessel unlike anything in the Alliance database. It wasn't Imperial in design. Unknown vessel, this is Earth Defense Force. Please identify, he transmitted. After a moment of silence, his communication system activated. A holographic image appeared, a being with iridescent skin and features that seemed to shift and flow like liquid. Greetings, human, the being said. I am Zethral of the Ascendancy. We have observed your species from afar and wish to establish contact. Jack maintained his professional composure despite his excitement. First contact with an entirely new civilization was rare even in this age of interstellar cooperation. Welcome to Earth space, he replied. I'll escort you to our diplomatic reception station. As they approached Unity *, Jack notified headquarters of their visitor. By the time they docked, Admiral Winters and a diplomatic team were waiting. The being emerged from its vessel, moving with fluid grace. We have watched with great interest, Zethral explained. Your species defeated the Empire when many thought it impossible. The Ascendancy has existed beyond Imperial space for millennia, avoiding contact. Now we wish to learn from you. In the days that followed, the Ascendancy representative shared remarkable knowledge with the Council. Their civilization had developed along entirely different technological paths, offering new possibilities that neither humans nor former Imperial worlds had conceived. During a private meeting with Admiral Winters, Zethral revealed the true purpose of their visit. There is a threat beyond the galactic rim, the alien explained, displaying star charts of regions no human had ever seen. A force that makes the Empire seem insignificant. We have held them at bay, but they grow stronger. We need allies who think differently. Alex studied the information carefully. Why come to us specifically? The Alliance includes many advanced worlds. Because of what happened when the Empire encountered Earth, Zethral answered. They had conquered 1,000 worlds with the same approach. Then they met humans. The aliens' features rippled in what might have been amusement. Your warning, run, has become famous beyond even your knowledge. But you didn't run. You innovated, adapted, and overcame impossible odds. The being's form shifted slightly. The coming threat cannot be defeated with conventional thinking. They assimilate and adapt to known strategies. We need unpredictability. We need the human element. Later, Alex presented the information to the Council. Representatives from former Imperial worlds, the Vrex, and dozens of other species listened intently. 5 years ago, we were isolated in our solar system, Alex concluded. Today, we stand as the foundation of a new galactic community. Now we face another challenge, not just for Earth, but for all sentient life. The Council chambers fell silent as the representatives considered the implications. Then the Vrex ambassador stood. When the Empire came, we told humans to run, the Vrex said. They taught us a better way. If this new threat comes, I suggest we follow the human example. We stand and fight together. One by one, representatives stood in agreement. The alliance that began as a desperate defense of Earth had become something greater, a coalition of diverse worlds united not by fear, but by common purpose. Jack watched from the observation deck as the Council session concluded. The galaxy had changed forever because humans refused to accept defeat. Whatever came from beyond the rim would face not just humanity, but a united galaxy that had learned humanity's most important lesson: never surrender.